is a different kind of singing this time. Not as much Elvis, more Brady Bunch family.
I'm saying B. Spears. Ugh, that reminds me. For book club, you know how I picked the Jessica Simpson memoir?
Yeah.
What a mistake. What a mistake.
And you read it.
I am reading it. It's taken me weeks.
Don't you feel like it was kind of white savior-y?
I mean, it's terrible. Like, what? Wait, ladies. I saw so many people when this book came out singing its praises. Explain yourselves. I thought, wow, okay. I wouldn't have expected that. I should read this. Everyone loves it. Mm-hmm. You guys are not okay if you think this was a good book. You need to read more books.
What was your least favorite part so far?
That she paints everybody else as the problem, and she's like the victim. Poor Nick Lachey.
Oh, yeah, she did. Yeah, I agreed.
Like, I don't see the problem with that guy. I didn't hear one thing that made me think he was the problem. Anyway, whatever. Join our book club.
It'll be good. I can't wait to talk about it. I've got a whole bunch of studies, too. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a good discussion. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I can be convinced if someone says, here's why this book is great, I could be like, oh, okay, I can see that. So don't be afraid to, like, if you have a counterpoint, I'm open.
Point, counterpoint. Love that game.
Yeah. Anyway, how's Sarah?
Can't complain, as per usual.
That's so weird.
I had an excellent Facebook Marketplace come up where
what does that mean?
Like, where you come upon a really good find.
What'd you find?
Pottery Barn corner desk. You know the same desk that you had? That you had the black one, and then I got the white one. That plus which will be for like a reading nook, like a trundle bed style, like matching bed. Mm-hmm. $250.
Wow.
For both.
No.
Yes, Susie.
Did everyone have that desk like 10 years ago?
Yes. No, it's still for sale. See, this is my trick. This is what you do, people. Mm-hmm. You find the classic item that they're like these
standards.
The standards that they're never going to stop making. Mm-hmm. That's what you can always replace the parts. There's always the instruction manual on how to put it together. And there's always somebody who's looking to unload it real quick. So somebody was like, we got to get out of this house because there's carpet people come in to and we need to take it apart. And you get to a point where you're like so desperate, it's cheaper to have somebody like sell it to somebody for cheap than to have somebody come and take it away, haul it away.
Yeah, totally.
You get to that place. Mm-hmm. So I found that
That's great. So how are you going to pick this up? You going to rent a truck or something?
I already got it. Here, already rented the U-Haul. Already did it.
U-Haul.
Yep. Did it by myself. Solo.
Oh my gosh. Did you get the U-Haul before you had actually inspected the item?
Yes. I was already dead set. I saw the picture. I was like, that's enough for me. I'm good.
Wow. Committed.
Yeah. Because it was like, this is solid, man.
Yeah. I can't believe you even went on Facebook.
I was thinking that I was going to get murdered a little bit because it was like one of those, Craigslist pickup situations. So as I'm getting out of the truck, or as I'm getting out of the car, I go to my trunk and I happen to have a pair of scissors there. And I put my scissors in my Louis Vuitton zippered shoulder bag. I just think it's hilarious that I'm shoving scissors in there, my murder weapon that I will be using in case this man were to attack me. But he was as nice as can be and gave me good dad advice.
You didn't have to use the scissors.
Didn't have to use the scissors. Didn't have to defend myself. Wasn't murdered.
How you have to kind of have that thought in your head, oh no, I don't want to die, but I really want this desk. How many times do you think men have to have that thought, in their lifetime?
Absolutely zero.
Zero times.
They're never thinking I'm going to get murdered.
Uh-huh.
How many times am I going to get murdered?
By somebody? Where they're I really want to do this thing, but I could die. Never.
Zero. Unless we're talking about something like skydiving. Or
what about guys that are
surfing?
More diminutive in stature? Do you think they ever think that?
Oh. I think it's anybody who's been marginalized.
Right. So, like, even a smaller guy really just wouldn't think like that.
I don't think a small guy would think like. I think the marginalized communities would, but
yeah, I agree.
And oppressed.
That must
communities.
be really nice for them.
Must be. I don't know about that. Like, okay, do you remember when I don't know, maybe you remember this, but why would you remember my stories that I put up on Instagram? I'm talking to Sue like she remembers all things that I do in my life. But when I first moved to Colorado, I was wearing, like, because it was snowing outside, I was wearing my snow jacket everywhere that had huge pockets. So I didn't even need a purse. And I was like,
you really enjoyed that freedom.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So
I do remember that.
You do remember all parts of my life.
I do.
And I was like, is this what men feel like? Like on the regular? Like you could just like get out of the car all willy nilly because you don't even have to check because everything's just on your person.
Yeah.
Freedom. And so I've got so much joy just experiencing the freedom of not having to carry a purse.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had some of the other freedoms that came with being a...
Yeah, like not fearing for your life. I mean, that's incredible.
Okay. When you pair this with our conversation about the brain states and how IQ is affected, how different things are, how emotional response are, like we really are we're doing a lot of work over here.
Yeah, right. And it probably
just
does lower
maintain a
our
sense
IQ.
of calm.
Right. Because you say that when you're in survival mode, your IQ drops like 50 points or something crazy.
Yeah, it does. I don't say this, science says it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I relay the info.
They don't know how good they have it, those guys.
They don't.
That's why they become middle-aged assholes, which Sarah told me last episode.
That was so funny.
Okay, there is a documentary out on Hulu. Really good. Captive Audience.
What?
It's called Captive Audience.
Oh.
I was also a captive audience, but that is also the name of it.
What is it about?
It was 3 episodes, and the first 2 episodes were about this guy, little boy in the 70s, who was kidnapped when he was 7, and then escaped when he was 14.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I saw this.
And went back home. And just how, everyone wanted that happy ever after, but like even though you're safe, you're traumatized, and that leads to all sorts of other problems and, relating to your family that you haven't seen in 7 years, all that stuff. So that was totally fascinating. But sadly, he, when he was a very young adult, passed away in a motorcycle accident.
What?
Yeah, so he like double whammy.
Are you... Wait, this goes against my theory that only one thing happens to you.
Oh, no, you have that theory? How could you have that theory?
No, like big thing. Like, you're not going to make headline news for more than one thing in your lifetime.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
You're not going to make, like, the newspaper. Like,
yeah.
It's so rare that would happen,
Right.
I'm already Sarah from The Real World. I'm not going to be Sarah from The Challenge who also got attacked by a shark.
Gotcha.
Not
right.
gonna happen.
Yeah, you have said that.
Yeah,
right.
see? This is my policy. Yeah. This is my theory.
Yes.
Right,
He is the exception that proves the rule because, so I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. And that's awful. And I'm approaching the end of episode 2, but I'm like, he died already. What could the 3rd episode possibly be about? Sarah.
What?
When he was abducted and then those 7 years... Like, he had several siblings and stuff. And, your parents are preoccupied thinking about their kidnapped kid. And so, like, the older brother was jealous, of course, about that. And then when he came home, the older brother felt, like, resentful that this kid's getting all the attention again. That guy, the older brother, became a serial killer.
No!
Yes!
Stop it.
I know I just spoiled the whole thing, but I can't resist.
No, it doesn't matter. I'm still watching. Now I'm definitely watching.
I was just like, what?
Okay.
I mean.
This feels like proof that this is like a simulation. That's like a glitch in the matrix. That's
right.
Like in Life Game, they chose
Somebody
like bad guy. Somebody messed up and because that, for the whole family to, come on.
Yes. It was so sad. Okay.
I might not be an agent of chaos.
Right. Well,
no.
This is... Yeah, I mean, this is an extreme situation.
So.
Here's what I wanted to ask you because when I see things about, somebody like a serial killer, and when I think about those people,
as she often does.
I do.
Yes,
and I think
I know.
everybody that's interested in true crime does too. I mean, that's why part of the allure is just sort of wanting to figure out what the heck went wrong. Do you think that guy would have become a serial killer regardless? Like it's, sociopathy and it was just the way he was born or something? Or do you think it really was that he was traumatized by all the chaos in his upbringing?
I don't know if it was necessarily that, like, so here's how I've explained before. That with any kind of, and I don't, what do I know? This is just a metaphor. What do I know? But you have to have, it's not just if you have this one thing, then you can predict that. But
it could be like
I think of it as like a light bulb in a light socket. So in order for that light to turn on, you need the wiring to be there. You need the light bulb to be in the socket. You need somebody to flip the switch. You need the power to be flowing. They need to pay their electrical bill,
Yeah.
If you have any of those one things missing, light's not going to go on. So you can be somebody who comes from a traumatic upbringing. You can have the genetic predisposition, but if you maybe haven't experienced that event that then triggers it, we're not going to have something like that happen. So could that have been the catalyst, or like, is it a contributing factor? Yes, sure. Can you predict, like, would it have happened if this didn't happen? I don't know, but my guess is most likely, because it's probably a combination of like the parenting as well. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's a lot of questions to ask, but I think one of them is like, what? Like, I would love to know the nature of how he went missing, things like that. Like, was there already negligence there to begin with?
It didn't sound like it, but I certainly don't know for sure. But that's not how it was portrayed.
Interesting.
Well,
what do you think?
Okay, I'll tell you after I tell you that a good way to calm down after watching a show like Captive Audience would be to have some dadgrass.
Absolutely. Good way to calm down anytime.
Like when you just want that nice, smooth chill like they had in the 70s.
Yes. I'm a big old fan of CBD now. I never really understood, like...
Yeah, everyone gave THC all the credit.
Nah.
And you're saying show a little love to the CBD as well.
Absolutely. That, talk about like relaxing, mellow.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Take it down a notch.
Snowboarding. I use a little Tinticure, little drops under my tongue.
Yeah, lickety split. And hear me out. There is THC, or is that it? Yeah, there is some THC, but it's like super small amount.
0.03 or something crazy.
So it's legal in all 50 states. You can get it delivered to your door. You should, give it a try. But it's high in CBD, so you get the effects, but you have a clear head. It's great. And mom grass, too, as we also always say. Right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/braincandy. Go to dadgrass.com/braincandy for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/braincandy. Okay, with regard to the question about the serial killer, I think what interests me is not so much about the killing and the violence. It's more about, like, because if we think the defining characteristic of sociopathy is to live without a conscience, to not feel that guilt that keeps most of us behaving properly, that to me seems like inborn rather than something you could develop later. Because if you've ever experienced guilt, it's kind of like if you lose your vision. You've had it at one time. You know what that's like. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, did he ever
and it
have
goes
a conscience?
It kind of violates a lot. It goes really against what we're kind of
the definitive.
Designed.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think maybe we don't know.
I feel like you know more. You would have a much clearer understanding of this than anybody, especially even me with a psychology background. because you are really talking to these people on the regular.
Yeah, but I'm talking
They're
to unreliable
sending you greeting
narrators.
cards. Yeah, but still, you can hear maybe hear themes.
Yeah.
What are some of the themes?
Well, whenever I try to get to the bottom of it and figure out, because I really want to know, was there a moment in your life where things went sideways, and then that it was like quantum leap moment? And they do always say that there is one, but then I think maybe they don't know for sure. They're just guessing.
Maybe
also.
that's something the brain does too.
Yeah.
Because
right.
we love to make meaning out of things.
Yeah, right.
We love it, but everything is really there. That we just do this. We create a narrative that makes us feel good.
Yeah,
in the same way,
order.
You know, I'll never forget. I can't remember what class it was, but my professor was talking about how the brain is like adaptive to. It's very resilient, and can survive a whole bunch. And how Nelson Mandela, after being held captive, was asked, "Would you, if you could, not have this happen, would you wish this didn't happen to you?" And he said, "No."
Right.
And that's not an extreme. That's not an unusual response. That is people who have gone through hardships. Like, I think about the trauma I've experienced, and I would kind of say, like, it's not my favorite thing that happened to me, but no, because it lands you where you are. So it's your brain justifying everything that has happened to make sense of where it is right now. And so I think maybe that's what they're doing, that we don't fucking know. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But we're going to pick a moment. I'll never forget the one about the BTK killer and the mattress and the couch, the mom getting stuck in the pull out sofa or something. Right?
Yeah. Well, and that though makes sense that you could identify a moment when maybe your fetish was triggered, but it's harder for me to know whether they ever felt guilt, because if you've never felt guilt, you might not even know what that feels like.
I see. You don't. How can you know that if you never even had it to begin with?
Yeah.
Right. Sense that something was gone.
Yeah. So
and it's
so
kind
mysterious.
of one of those things. It's subjective. Like, we have to measure it ourselves.
Yeah, right. And so again, unreliable narrator, and we all
You're
are.
right. Yeah.
So then I just get hung up on it. Yeah. But what a sad story, especially for the mom who was, providing a lot of the narrative. And I just thought, what a traumatic life she's led in so many ways. But she seems so, I don't know, level-headed.
Okay, see, that was it. My thing would be like, let's look at the parents. But
the dad seemed like he was a bit of a dud. But it was also that time, like when the kid came back after being kidnapped, the dad wouldn't let him go to therapy because he didn't, they didn't believe in it. People were real weird about it back then.
Something's happening with dad. I have questions.
Yeah, the dad might have been the old smoking gun.
Yeah.
But I think he passed away. He wasn't in it. Anyway, I did totally spoil it, but you guys should still watch it because the footage is fascinating of the little boy that got kidnapped and whatever. Okay. This is fun. Okay, how about those, those road signs you see periodically? They're like those light bulb ones, like drunk driving kills, or don't text and drive.
Yes. Yes, I do, because I saw some really fucking weird ones that was talked about Mr. T in Utah.
Like Pity the Fool type stuff?
Yes. Yes.
Why?
Yes. I have no fucking clue, and I wanted so bad to take a picture of it because I was like, this is Brain Candy podcast material for sure. But I was too scared. I was driving, and I didn't want to be a dangerous driver.
Wait, but was it like I Pity the Fool who texts and drive?
Yes. Yes, Susie. 100%. And it was
of all the themes.
I know.
So weird.
And in Utah, I was like, are they really behind on their references?
That I would believe.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, tell me your story now, because I can't believe it, because this was definitely something I was going to talk about.
Okay, so yeah, they're just like warnings about being careful, or maybe they're alerting you that the next stretch of highway is particularly dangerous or something like that.
Yep. There were recent ones in Colorado that said, we know it's 420. We know you know it's 420, and so do the highway patrol officers.
Well, hey, that's
DUI. Like, don't drink and drive. Or like driving stoned is a DUI.
Yeah, they always try to be real clever.
Yeah, they're trying to be like all clever. Yes.
Well, the Wall Street Journal put an article out that was talking about a study where they found that it actually increases fatal accidents. These signs.
Well, yeah, because they're being all freaking...
Yeah, stop trying to be freaking cute, you weirdos.
So tell me how they found that out.
They said that they're distracting, and they theorized that the signs put excessive demands on drivers' attention and information processing abilities, which is known as a cognitive load. And the overload impacts drivers' ability to respond to changes in traffic conditions, causing them to make small errors that result in multi-vehicle crashes, like getting too close to the car in front of them, drifting out of their lane, etc.
100% I agree with this. Think about if I were not a safe driver, I would 100% taken a picture of that.
Right. Yeah, we don't need Instagram opportunities on the road.
Right.
Yes. Especially
and
Mr. T,
because
that is
like
extra
being
funny.
like tongue in cheek. I can't understand why they did. I was like, what is happening?
Did you see more than one Mr. T one?
Yes, Susie.
It's insane.
Yes. And I was like, this can't be real. And then I passed another one. I was like, oh my God, I'm not sure. I was like, how long have I been driving? But
he was like a mirage. Remember how you had that friend whose dad invented the slogan, you better
don't lay a finger on my butterfinger? Correct, yes.
Who do you think made the catchphrase, I pity the fool? Because that is a winner. I mean, it's lasted now 40 years. You think he created that? That wasn't a writer, a TV writer. Was that his catchphrase before the show? Get out of here.
Yes.
And so, like, his entire career is hinged on this one, like, brilliant
Susie,
line.
Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Let's get ready to rumble. Quick. Give me some
I know. I was like, how many can she do right now? Yeah. Okay. So, what was Mr. T's career before?
What time is it? Tool time? I don't know. This is kind of changing gears, but
right. Okay. No soup for you. That would be one.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But okay, so you're telling me
I pity the fool.
Mr. T was like a character before he got that show?
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, this guy needs a show.
Good question.
Or did they pluck him out of obscurity?
Hang on a sec.
Time for a Google.
Click. Mr. T.
I would love to know his career
origin
arc.
story.
Yeah. Yes, totally.
Oh, see, professional wrestler. I knew it.
Okay.
Mr. T is an American actor, professional wrestler. Yep.
Okay. You smell what the Rock is cooking. You were right. Hold on. I got to talk about how it's almost Father's Day, and you guys. Okay. Let me ask you this. The man in your life, whether it's your partner, your brother, your dad, whoever, his clothes are ugly. And you're like, Suze, no, they're not. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are.
Just admit it.
Very least, there's a hole somewhere, or about to be a hole somewhere.
Yeah, and maybe they were nice at one time, but they're not nice anymore. And so, thank you, Adam. I was just talking about you.
Oh, look at that.
Just brought me some tea.
Did I help?
Yes, always good. I was just talking about how men's clothing is usually ugly and they should go to Cuts Clothing and buy some.
Absolutely.
Because Adam used to buy $4 shirts from a place I won't mention. And I had to put a stop to that. Okay, so you guys will do yourselves and your families a favor and your friends by getting them Cuts Clothing, which are very, very high quality basics, really nice fabrics, really stylish. But they go with anything. So it's not like it's just the perfect amount of casual and dressy.
Yes.
What are you laughing at over there, Mr. T stuff?
I am, but
Okay,
now I'm also
save it.
reminded of my Nice Cuts t-shirts and I also want to chime in that it's not just for the man in your life, it's also for you because I
that's
love
right.
my cut shirts.
Yeah,
So.
Sarah always likes to qualify this by saying it isn't just for men, and she's right. Anybody could wear them. They're very
Do you like
nice.
comfortable clothing?
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Very, very nice stuff. Refresh your wardrobe in time for summer with Cuts. See for yourself why Cuts is one of the fastest growing men's brands with over 1 million shirts sold. Get 15% off your first order by going to cutsclothing.com/braincandy. That's CUTS clothing.com/braincandy. Okay, tell me about Mr. T.
Okay, so Mr. T was a wrestler and did other stuff before this. But that phrase, you were right. It was writers who wrote that. It came from Rocky III, where he played a character named Clubber Lang, who was the primary antagonist. And his catchphrase, "I pity the fool," comes from the film. When he was asked if he hates Rocky, the character replies, "No, I don't hate Balboa, but I pity the fool." And then he appeared in a couple other boxing films. So he was a professional wrestler before that. And so then it became his, and this was before the A-Team. So then it became his catchphrase because it was written in not in a way that was like, "I pity the fool." It was written as,
I just pity that fool.
Yes.
Yes. Wait a minute. Didn't Sylvester Stallone write Rocky, or was that Rambo only? Get that Google engine back out.
Hang on a sec.
Because if Sylvester Stallone is the genius behind I Pity the Fool,
written by Sylvester Stallone.
Oh my God! This is the best episode ever.
There you go. Look at that. Keyboard.
Yeah,
Crusader over here, just solving your curious crimes.
That's
crimes,
why on my Insta close friends that I let my patrons look at, I love doing a "Here's what I Googled this week" section because it's funny to see what you Google.
I have to do this.
Do it.
I Google weird things.
Yes.
People would love to see what I've Googled. Here's what I've Googled this week. Here's what I've Googled this week.
Yeah. Are you going to tell me right now?
Well, just
Mr. T. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone does not get enough credit, period.
No, written by, directed by, based on characters by Sylvester Stallone, starring Sylvester Stallone.
Amazing work.
Sylvester Sly. Stallone.
I pity the fool. Okay,
yeah, he wrote that then.
Good for him.
And that was even Rocky III. He also wrote Rocky 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like not a smart guy.
You're right. We don't give him enough credit.
Yeah, but he's like a genius, writing genius. My God, he's like Shakespeare.
You know who else I honestly think that we don't give enough credit to as an actor that I saw the movie Moneyball the other day.
Oh, Brad
which was
Pitt.
Great. No,
Jonah
Hill.
Oh yeah, but
yes,
don't you think people give him credit?
I don't. I think people see him as like a comedic joke guy who's the guy from Superbad who makes like the dick jokes and the is kind of like that kind of like stonery humor. But he was excellent in Moneyball. I think he does an excellent, and to see him do that character and then play like Wolf of Wall Street guy.
Yeah.
He's so
agree.
good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
I think he's awesome. I agree. Okay. Well, that was real fun. So basically, they're going to have to take all those signs down because they interviewed people for the article and they were like, listen, we really thought this was going to help. Like, they had the best intentions with those things. But
it makes you kind of think about billboards.
It also makes me think about the human brain and how, like, we get, like, all it takes is for us to see a damn light bulb and we just, like, drive off the side of the road.
100%. Suze, I had an actual therapy session where we were talking about like ways ADHD affects me and like how, and nice, like times where I get anxious.
Oh, you were the client?
And I said, yeah. Okay. And I said, and I was talking about how driving gets me, like how I feel really bad and I feel like guilty because I can't maintain a conversation in the car while I'm driving. And my therapist was like, well, why don't you just tell your passengers, I'm sorry, but I need to focus on the road? And I think I tried it. You were the first person I tried it with. I don't even know if you noticed, but I did that.
And
with
what
you
did I
one
say?
time.
Was I nice about it, or was I?
Of course you were. You
it could have
probably
gone either
made
way.
some joke where you were like, yeah, actually, you should pay attention to the road. And you're like, and then, but if I'll pay attention to the road, but then if I'm not, Susie will honk for me.
That's one of the things that most surprised me about you, though, was that if I had to predict what you would have been like as a driver, I would have predicted you would have been wild and like speeding and like mile a minute. I mean, that's what your personality is.
One would think.
But it is like grandma. It is like Sunday drive. Like, it's unbelievable.
You know who taught me how to drive was my grandmother. I was taught to drive by a 90-year-old woman. And it shows. I feel like I'm one of those people that's like, oh, somebody wasn't taught to drive by their 90-year-old grandma, and it shows.
It's just
look, our matching mugs. Look at us. But mine holds pens.
Yours got pens in it.
Yeah.
It's just crazy because I think everyone would agree, listening, that they would have predicted that you're like,
no, I'm not
wild on the road.
No. And I'm super focused because I'm like,
she is
trying to pay attention.
It's like 10 and 2 on the wheel.
Yes.
I mean.
Always, absolutely. And,
I bet you
sitting the most, Susie makes fun of me because I sit the most upright. You're like, nobody sits so close to the...
Her back never hits the back of the seat, ever. And she's so...
Because I'm so nervous. And then if you're I'm like trying to pay attention, so I can't have anybody distract me. So yes, I understand how just being in a car is insane. That we're all just like cruising around in tanks.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy.
Death traps. Come on.
Wouldn't you have predicted, though, that would have been the way I drive is the way you drive? Like, we're reversed. It's so weird.
Yes. This happens.
This happens. Okay, moving on. This is another fun thing.
Oh, my God. Fun things.
There's this trend, I guess, on TikTok, but probably also maybe... Or no, I think it's on Instagram, but then they talk about it on TikTok, which is how... You know how, like, the young people... They are sick of the staged, like, very...
I'm already who the young people.
I
was the young person!
You know, what happened? What happened?
When did this happen? Okay, yes, go on. The young people, what are the kids doing these days?
Okay, they don't like the polished, sort of phony baloney staged Instagram pictures. They like it to be more organic and just like... ugly, whatever, garbage pictures. But
stage garbage.
The truth is, that's right. The truth is nobody really wants to post like an ugly picture of themselves. So it has to be like intentional ugliness. And so they're doing this thing where they want to make a picture look like there's action. And so they want it to have blurriness, some sort of out of focus part. And so girls are making their boyfriends shake them like this, so that then the picture looks blurry, and the still version looks like cool and romantic and ethereal.
Stop!
Yes,
this is ridiculous.
But if you watch
We've
the
gone
TikToks,
too far. The
TikToks of it look like abuse or something. It's crazy. Blurry photo TikTok trend or something.
Okay,
and like this is bizarre, you guys.
This is ridiculous. We've
Are
gone
young
too
people
far.
okay?
Are young people okay? Okay.
So that's all there is to that story. I just wanted to mention it.
It's ridiculous. Can't.
Yes. Okay. This is fun.
I keep getting results when I put shaking girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
I get results to that guy Shake from Love Is Blind. So that's not what I'm looking for.
No, right. He ruined the algorithm.
No, he did.
Okay.
So ridiculous.
Scientists said, oh wait, okay, hold on. What's not ridiculous is is getting therapy, and that's why.
Oh, not ridiculous at all. One of my favorite things, as I mentioned.
Yes, maybe you want to try BetterHelp, because if you are interested in therapy, maybe you're like, but I don't want to go to the doctor's office. It's intimidating and scary. So you could get therapy from the comfort of your own home or wherever you may be. And they have licensed professionals that will help you deal with, relationships or stress or whatever's on your mind.
Whatevs.
Whatevs. Or you can just
Even
talk.
if you just want to get organized. Even if you just want to, like, change habits. People don't realize how much therapists are able to help with.
It's like an actual life coach.
Yeah. But,
Not one of
like,
those pretend
understanding the cause of, like, but going deeper and understanding why you do the thing so that you can change the behavior. And then it's like, you're good. You learn how to tie your shoes. You don't ever wonder,
people, I think,
how am I going to remember how to tie my shoes? You learn how to do it. Once you learn about awareness, woo, it's helpful.
You get to the root of it.
Yes.
So whatever you're dealing with, you can talk to somebody about. It's customized online therapy, video, phone, live chat sessions, whatever you want. Brain Candy listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/braincandy. That's betterhelp.com/braincandy.
Interesting that we spell the word help in that one, because better seems like people have more difficulty with that one. Is it because
really?
help? Is it because help might sound like something different?
Better help.
Just wondering.
Yeah,
H-E-L-P?
I don't know. There's probably like some sort of focus group that told them to do that.
It's like,
there is a group of scientists at MIT who decided to study whether it was possible to split open an Oreo sandwich cookie and have the cream be evenly distributed between the two wafers when it's open.
Impossible.
You're right. It is impossible.
I already know the answer to this. I've tried many times.
You've been doing this research.
Yeah. Guess what, MIT? I beat you to this research. I started years ago.
Sarah's got she's a professor emeritus in Oreo cream, okay? You're wasting your time, people.
Oh, God.
I love it, though.
So funny.
The article was so fun to read, though, because, it's a serious article.
I love
but it's about Oreos. And it's saying, they tried everything. They tried different twisting configurations. And no matter what, the cream tends to delaminate from one wafer every time. And then you got one bare wafer and then one with almost all the cream.
Right.
And they tried double stuff, mega stuff. Same results.
This seems like... So, the wishbone of a chicken or turkey and how you hold the wishbone and no matter what, it's always going to be on one side or the other?
But you know the secret to getting
No, I don't.
I'm going to tell you how to get your wish.
Oh, Suze,
There is a trick.
fun. Oh,
But
you
you
look
can
adorable, by the
only
way.
do
Susie
it-
just took her jacket off. And
Yeah, I'm getting all warm.
so cute.
Getting all worked up. It's hot. Okay. The key, though, is you're going to have to do it with someone who doesn't know the trick.
Okay. So not with you.
So no brainiacs are going to be. So it's basically whoever pulls the hardest gets the short bone. Short side of the bone.
Short bone. So you want to not
whoever
pull hard.
is the least invested gets the good side.
Well, this is kind
And
of
now you know why you've lost every time. Because there's no way Sarah was doing it
no
last.
way. I've never not been the one who's the most not
Have
the
you
most
been mad for your entire life about this?
entire life. I've been like, what the fuck? I gotta wait all the way till February before I get a wish that's gonna come true. If you're wondering about that, that's because February is my birthday, and the next time to make a wish is when you blow out the candles, in which you're guaranteed that your wish is going to. I suppose I could have thrown a penny into a fountain, but who carries change these days?
Yeah. There's a coin shortage.
Oh God, Suze, that is so funny. So we could play the same game with Oreos of which side?
They didn't dive too deep into this part, but they implied that the reason that this is so is because something about the way that the Nabisco company puts the cream into the Oreo.
Okay.
So it must start on one side and then they put them together. And so that first one has the advantage. That first wafer. Because it's
Well, I think this should take over for Wishbones. It's not as seasonal and special, maybe.
Yeah.
Now I want an Oreo.
Do you?
Yeah, real bad.
Well,
How can you not want My mirror neurons are going crazy.
She's an empath.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this isn't an ad, but Catalina Crunch has a version of them.
What?
I should try those ones. Oh, yeah, they have these. They're chocolate sandwich cookies, but they can't say what they really are, which is Oreos.
Okay, well, I love that.
And they are delicious.
I can't wait. Oh,
yeah.
I'm so hungry.
Let me ask you this. If you are choosing, do you go regular, double stuff, or mega
regular.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't like the too much
really?
ratio. Yeah, I want regular.
Like, why are they even making regular? I didn't know why. I like the double.
Your double stuff.
Mega's
Another
too much.
thing that I don't think people would have guessed about us.
Why do you think?
Because
that's so true. I just realized you're right. You seem more of like a mega.
I want it all.
Yeah.
I would want more. And Susie'd be like, no, I'll take the next. Yeah, this.
It's too much cookie to cream for me and the regular.
Too much cookie to cream? Oh,
too much cookie.
Because you like more cream.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh.
I'm going to ask on Instagram what you guys are into. Oreo.
Yeah.
Poll.
Here's the thing that I want, though.
Yeah.
Milk to dip it into.
Really? Mm-hmm. Every time? That's your preference? Or do you do like one dunk?
I wouldn't even drink the milk afterwards. I just kind of wanted it to dip it.
That's one of my pet peeves.
I don't like it. You mean you don't like it because there's stuff floating in it and it's gross because there's like it's been dunked in?
Yeah.
That makes it better. What about milk after cereal? What about
I did a tweet once where I said, "What if you met the love of your life and then found out he drank the milk after he ate his cereal?"
Susie,
Good. I was like, "How thirsty do you have to be?"
How have we known each other as long? But
I would have
we've eaten
pegged
breakfast together.
Yeah, but thank God you've never done that in front of me. We've never had cereal together.
Have we never had cereal together?
Do you do it every time? You're like, glug, glug, glug.
No. Only depends on what delicious cereal I'm eating. If those are the Rice Krispies, the what are they called?
Oh my God, Cocoa Krispies.
Cocoa Krispies. You bet your freaking ass I'm drinking that chocolate milk. That is exact. So what it's designed for.
What about the food product in there? The crumbles.
You mean the delicious flavor explosions in your mouth? Yes.
It's like weird cereal soup.
Yes. Oh, I love playing that game. Is cereal a soup?
You do love that game.
It's one of my favorite questions to ask people.
Maybe it is for you because you're drinking the milk.
Thank you. That's why I say yes.
I got to do another poll about the cereal milk.
Yes.
Is it like scarcity? Like you don't want to waste it?
No, it's delicious.
It's like I can't accept what you're saying.
Susie,
you
it's chocolate like 10 times. Milk. It's Fruity Pebbles flavored milk. I'm not doing this with...
That is disgusting. Fruity Pebbles.
Gosh. Yeah. Like whatever.
What is the one you wouldn't drink?
Like not sugary cereal.
Right, like Fiber One or something.
Yeah. Like Cheerios. Like pass.
Oh, right. Okay.
But here's what I think this is. You grew up in a house where sugar was like not off limits. You had Kool-Aid.
Oh, right. I see.
The only time that I got sugar was in the form of cereal. Like sweet sugar, like the sweetest, and it would be like Honey Nut Cheerios was like a treat in our house. So whenever we would go camping or go, when I would go to summer camp or when we would go, I'm trying to think where else I would have those, those single servings, or sometimes my mom would go to Costco and just like on a whim, she would get that like, you would have like variety pack.
Yeah.
And it would come with like and we would just practically murder each other for who was going to get the Cocoa Krispies.
What about
so
Apple
I was
Jacks?
on a quest to have the sugar.
I bet.
And residual sugar left in that. That was like, I want that last sip. Please.
That is so gross. Truly,
it's like
if
all the
I
powder.
were dying of thirst, dehydration, I don't think I would drink it.
Well, I hope to be stranded with you somewhere when we're both dying of thirst, and that's our only thing available, because I will live.
Holy heck. I'm going to do a poll, and I feel like I'm going to lose the poll, but I shouldn't.
There's even a place, I don't remember, I saw this on probably your boy Guy Fieri doing like it on Diners, Drive-Ins, Drives or something like that, where is it called Cereal Bar?
Oh,
where
I've seen this like restaurant.
It's not the restaurant that is cereal.
Oh.
And you just go there. There's some place that's like either a cookie place or a cake place where the milk that they use in the recipes is the leftover milk, where they like make a bowl of cereal, then drain out the cereal, and then they use the milk from that as the milk ingredient in their recipe. I saw this on...
That is insane.
Something recently. No, Susie, that is delicious. Could you imagine a snickerdoodle made with... I don't even know if you use milk in that. I think you do. But with like a Cinnamon Toast Crunch instead? Milk? Extra
All
cinnamon?
right. Okay. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yeah.
Thank you.
Fine.
It's basically like horchata.
I just can't believe that would even, like, how would that impact the recipe enough to necessitate like an entire bar or whatever you're describing?
It's
a gimmick.
Yeah,
okay.
It's like cake pops. This is like
like
all the pops. Or what is the one? This is like the muffin top from Curb Your Enthusiasm, where it's like just a place that just serves the top of muffins.
All right.
I feel like that was an episode.
It should have been, but it wasn't. But like
it wasn't.
There was an episode about a muffin top, but it was regarding someone's midsection, not the food.
There's another TV show.
Yeah, it does ring a bell. That
there was somebody created that just
muffin,
Friends,
the tops
maybe?
only.
The tops only. Yeah, Friends. This was something. Okay. Anyways, moving on.
Let's take a hot second and talk about delicious treats.
Yum.
Shall we?
I always want to take a break for delicious treats.
Yeah, not just the oatmeal you've been eating. This is way better than that. Milk Bar. Remember when we had our book club in-person meeting, like in the before times?
Yes.
And we had Milk Bar cookies and sweet treats for everybody.
That's right.
And Lincoln's birthday's coming up, and Mother's Day's coming up. And Milk Bar has delicious cakes and goodies that we want you guys to try. That's what Mom really wants. I saw this TikTok about how, like, Mom doesn't want the crappy bath set from CVS.
No.
We do not. Get a cake.
Mom wants cake.
They have strawberry shortcake with truffles. I'm getting Lincoln a birthday cake from them, from Milk Bar. So that'll be super fun. And he'll be like, Mom, you're the best. But their goodies are so delicious. And they have fast, sometimes even overnight shipping. So, like, you're like, oh, it's too late. Mother's Day is soon. You can still get one.
Well, there you go. That's perfect for last-minute people like me.
Right now, Milk Bar has a special, too. Limited time offer. Get $10 off any order of $50 or more when you go to milkbarstore.com/braincandy. You'll get $10 off an order of $50 by going to milkbarstore.com/braincandy. milkbarstore.com/braincandy. Do it!
Yes.
Okay. Let's do the history of dance marathons. Let's talk about that.
I feel like you would be excellent at a dance marathon. Because you know how to cut a rug.
That's true.
It seems like the kind of dancing is similar to the dancing that one would do at a wedding, which I know is Susie's favorite kind of dancing. And when Susie gets it in her head that she wants to win something, she's going to win.
Yeah, that's true. I see all your points there. Though, you're more competitive.
I know. It would be head to head. This would
me and you should have one for charity.
Oh my God. Who would win?
You would.
Yeah, because
you go into this weird
give
zone.
Up and you'd be like, I don't want to see her in that place.
The only bad thing about dance marathons is that time when everyone's too tired and then they're really not even dancing anymore. They're swaying.
They're just like and it's not fun.
And they're holding each other up. Where, you know what I mean? Like, where they're like creating a body pyramid where they just like prop.
Tell me where this started.
Some hooker in like 1931 or something.
It feels like it goes in time with radio.
Well, they say that it was
It's
huge.
dancing.
No, it was in the 20s. You're right. It was in the 20s. It was very popular during the Depression. But in the 1920s, there was some lady named Alma who decided to see if she could achieve the world record for the longest continuous dance. So these world record people are freaking weirdos. I mean,
well, don't you think that those kind of times, like it's funny that I feel like we probably had a spike in world record attempts during COVID and quarantine when we were all in lockdown. And we were like, it wouldn't surprise me that during like a Great Depression or a time where people are like not going out as much, that you'd have people who are like trying to go up with their own forms of entertainment.
Totally. I can see that.
Yeah.
But she was determined, and then she just inspired a lot of copycats and competitors. But then it got they started calling them fatigue contests, which I love. And they had all different ones. So it's like they had tree sitting, rolling peanuts along a country road with your nose.
Oh my God. I kind of like these fatigue contests too.
Well, you were in one. I don't know if you
right,
remember.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, these are the ones that I win at. Last man standing. Like, who's going to quit? Never.
Yeah.
These are the ones that women tend to do, I think, better at.
They did driving automobiles with hands tied. That seems... How is that about fatigue? I don't know.
With your
That
knee?
just seems like a...
And also, loser...
Right, what's the booby prize on that one?
Yeah, might be like, ugh. R.I.P.
They would charge you just maybe say 50 cents or $1 to participate, but then the winner would get so much money that they became very popular during the Great Depression when people needed the money.
I get this.
And like you said, it's just like a fun thing to do for poor. They called it the poor man's nightclub, where you don't have a lot of money.
I can totally see this. Yeah. We were all doing this. That's why all those trick shot things became popular.
Oh my God!
All of this stuff. I saw a huge rise in this during main lockdown times.
The weird thing about it that I didn't expect was when I was reading the article, I started thinking so much about the challenge because it was saying how, at first this was like super popular. Everyone was loving it. It's such a novelty. But then they had to keep upping the ante like they did on the thing. So they would create these elaborate rules and requirements and then would stretch it out as long as possible. So you could stop for a meal and then start again.
No.
Kind of like they do on the challenge.
Totally like that. People be like, oh, you're going for... No, they would stop us sometimes. Then other ones, no.
And where it would come down to somebody sort of fell a little bit, so they're disqualified. Kind of like on the challenge where some random rule will be the thing.
Or the producers were tired of being out there all day, so they're like, okay, well, let's
let's wrap this up.
Let's take away one of their, one of the things that... Ow, what do I have in my ear? Anyways.
But it felt... you remember how they had one on Golden Girls? Remember in Betty White?
Was it a dance-off?
Yeah, remember they all competed with different partners and they were very competitive. And then Betty White ended up doing backflips and stuff.
I don't remember that. You think I would?
Yeah.
Sure, I've seen it.
And it was, but it just feels like it's one of those things that seems more common because they would do it on sitcoms for a plot device than it probably
kind of
really...
like Quicksand. There's not a lot of that, but somehow it's everywhere in Looney Tunes movies or something like that.
Yes, but I'll tell you what. I don't know where else they do this, but I wish I cared about anything as much as people that go to Penn State care about what they call Thon. They have this every year. It's called Thon, and it's this thing where they stay up all night and dance and stuff. When I was on Road Rules, it was Susie, we need you to come to Thon and make an appearance so you can raise the morale of the dancers. And I'm like, what? This is so weird. They're obsessed. Have you ever been invited to a dance marathon?
No, never ever. They did not exist outside of radio contests and sitcoms in my world.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But apparently it was popular for a time. Wonder why they went out of fashion, though. Because, I would go once just to see what happens.
You know what I think may have done it is because this is what I associate with it, the the drinking all the water and you can't like holding on to the car, like touching the car, who could keep their hand on it for the longest and they die because of like water toxicity because they can't pee.
The name of that contest was called Hold Your Wii for a Wii. It was to win a Wii. What, you remember that gaming device?
Yes.
And that poor woman was trying to win for her children to get a Wii.
Oh my God, she died.
And then it exploits like people that are underprivileged
100%.
because they are more desperate to win it. I can't believe, because I used to work in promotions for a radio station. I cannot believe that got approved.
Right. You that's right. Okay. Yeah.
And the lawyers were constantly like, you can't do that because of this or that. Not a pee thing, but like whatever. Anything you pitch to the lawyers, they'd be like, no, because somebody could fall off a 2-inch thing and die. So I don't know how the lead thing happened.
I feel like when those lawsuits happened and when that kind of took place and those went away, then so did the thons of dancing. And like anything where it's like exhaustion that you're putting people through. Well,
that's another reason I kept thinking about the challenge was because you're pushing people to a scary place physically and mentally.
Yes.
Because they're desperate to win the prize money. I mean, this is very relatable to me.
Very, very relatable. That was 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish I didn't know what that felt like.
Yeah. Oh, good point. Interesting.
Anyway, the Mr. T. Oh, I do want to give one more update. This is just an aside. I need an explanation from a physician or something.
What?
This is the update that nobody has asked for.
Okay.
Years ago, and we have continuously talked about how I can't smell asparagus pee.
Oh, right. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. Some people are smellers and some people are excretors. Right. Yes.
I can now smell it.
What?
I can smell asparagus pee now. And I did it twice just to make sure because I thought maybe... like that was just, I just smelled pee. And then I ate it again because it's springtime. That's in season.
Yeah.
And I was like, I smell it. And it smells like, kind of like grass and dirt and.
Yep. You know
pee.
it. And it happens right. Oh.
And you were right. Gosh. Like I said to you, like, when does it emerge? Like the next day? And you were like, no, right after. Yes.
You definitely smell it. What?
But did I just not notice before?
I don't know.
Or did I develop
I think
skill.
You developed it.
But I thought it was noticed. A gene, like the cilantro thing.
So did I. This is very fascinating. We're gonna need. This is.
I do need to Google that and then put it on my Insta story because
this is very interesting.
I smell something brewing in my pee right now.
Wow! Wow!
I'm writing this down. Asparagus pee.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I don't know. Doctors, did I just not notice? Did I develop this skill late in life? Am I late bloomer?
I gotta know.
Because you guys said...
I can't even imagine.
Because I have that soap problem with the cilantro.
Yes. I thought it was related.
Yeah, we thought maybe the same people have the same problem.
Right.
Well, I still taste that soap, so I would love for that to go away. Cilantro's in everything.
When was the last time you tested this?
I didn't test it, but I've tasted it. You know, like if I order something at a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
Because that is my cross to bear.
Right. And you love Mexican food.
That's how you know, like, I'm privileged, is that, like, that's the thing that really bothers me right now.
It's like, guys, it tastes like soap.
It tastes like soap, it does. Because I always wonder when I watch Food Network.
Pee.
Yeah, what's your, you know.
I honestly have nothing. I have no theory.
Wow, this is a first.
That was a stumper.
Sarah does not have a theory.
I have none. I can't even. It would take me time to think on that. I would have to have a think.
Okay, and like if you guys are listening and you know, please tell me. Or if you developed this late in life,
genes do like something. You turned it off. Environment,
right?
Exposure.
Yeah.
What would cause you to then start smelling it?
Yeah, I never smelled it until about, I don't know, 2 months ago, a month ago.
So something either changed in that now you have that you produce whatever that is.
Maybe it's like perimenopause. You know what I mean? Like hormones.
Yeah, maybe it has to do with hormones. It's tied to like hormone levels and stuff.
Because I could see that, like if you got pregnant and then all of a sudden you can
totally.
smell it.
Because yep. Okay. Got
we do have a theory.
We do have a theory. Got it. We're back. Thank you. Just changing her notes from Sarah.
I did to add the music. I put the time code so we could add the music because Sarah's got a theory now. All right, people, let's wind it down.
Yeah. What
Good
the heck
Lord.
did we talk about? So many good things.
We talked about, the scissors in your Louis Vuitton. That was fun.
I only mentioned what it was because it's like I am willing to risk poking the hole through. I don't even care. I'm like shoving scissors into like a fancy bag.
Yes.
Like to possibly protect myself to not get murdered.
Yeah, I think
People
that's
can
good.
relate. I'm sure. But not men.
Oh, yeah. You got to see that documentary, Captive Audience, on Hulu.
Yeah.
That was really interesting.
Wow. What a twist.
What a twist.
It's always crazy and like a good sign that this is going to be like, if you go in and they are in the first episode, you're like, this would be enough.
Yeah.
For a whole documentary.
Yeah.
And there's still multiple episodes left. You're like,
Yeah.
buckle up. It's about to get crazy.
Truly.
That's what 3 Identical Strangers was like to me.
It makes me sad, though.
This isn't the main point of the story? What?
Yeah. I feel bad, though, because part of what made it so great was that I had no idea that was coming. Maybe people know about this case or people are more familiar with it. It was like national news, of course, and they did like that was another thing, Sarah. What? The 7-year-old who was kidnapped and stuff, eventually they made a made-for-TV movie about that.
Yeah, yeah.
And whenever the serial killer brother confessed, before he confessed, he said, I need you, the journalist, to say that there will be a movie about me on TV. Like he was jealous.
Okay. Oh, God.
Before he would tell that he did it, he said, here are my conditions. You have to guarantee there'd be a made-for-TV movie about me. And so then I'm like, maybe he really was just upset about all the attention things.
No,
and then also a sociopath. And then also have no soul.
Yeah. Ugh.
But to vote, what a weird thing to condition your...
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, watch that.
He wanted to be the main character. Damn.
If you see any roadside signs, don't
Ignore
pay any attention.
Don't look at him. I pity the fool who looks at those signs.
Exactly. Correct.
Can somebody living in Utah please take a picture of that?
Yeah, they will.
It is on the whatever highway you take to get that cuts through New Mexico and Utah on the way to... It might have been New Mexico, actually.
Okay.
But look for those Mr. T road signs, people.
Oreos.
I Google that.
No matter which ones you like, you cannot open them and have the cream evenly distributed on the wafers. That's good to know. So you can quit trying to make that happen. Quit trying to make fetch happen.
Quit trying.
Sarah drinks cereal milk like a friggin' serial killer.
Susie's crazy because she lets delicious flavored milk just go to waste.
My husband does too. I mean, like that's why I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's like you.
Yeah.
Insane. Anyway, dance marathons, you get it. Leave us a review.
Thons.
Thon it.
Thon it.
I'll see you next time, everybody.
Bye.